Welcome to week 8 of lockdown for me. There's nothing I can do to my hair anymore. I can't fix this at all. I don't look good in hats, so, maybe I can just... Does this look good? So to get through this lockdown, we've all had to take up little tasks, write to-do lists, do stuff we love to get through. But the thing is, when you're a musical theatre stan, it's a lot harder to do your thing you love, seeing as literally all the theatres are closed down and all you can hear from them is, uh-oh, we might not be reopening until 2021. I'm sorry, what? And then we have to go to bootlegs and recorded performances, which, there are so many being put out at the moment, but they still don't feel like theatre. So instead I decided to make this YouTube channel. And up to now, I've been discussing things that I don't like as much. Like last week, I discussed the Mean Girls musical, and I've discussed the Riverdale Hedwig episode. But today, I want to discuss something a bit more positive. I want to discuss my favourite musical of all time, and what I would personally say is the greatest musical of all time. But before I start, did you know that only 20% of my viewers are subscribed? What? I make great musical theatre content twice a week at the moment. So, what are you doing not subscribing? Because in all seriousness, it does really help out the channel, and it does really help my ego during this hard time. But now, onto the video. So, I'm not gonna tell you what my favourite musical is right away. Where would the fun be in that? You know, we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna give you a couple of clues. So, the first clue is, Come From Away. My favourite musical is Come From Away. So, if there was any definition of the word Come From Away stan, it would be a picture of me. Because I am a Come From Away stan. But I understand that this is not the most popular musical. It's not got the same kind of fan base as something like Heathers or Les Mis or Wicked. So let me explain the basic plot to you. Come From Away is a true story about a town called Gander in Newfoundland on the northeast tip of North America. The show centres around the days following 9/11 as 38 planes were diverted to the town's giant airport. The townspeople in this time of crisis opened their hearts and opened their doors to these people stranded on their island. This musical is so beautiful through and through. It's such a modern piece of history that kind of went under the radar a little bit, but it is such an important story to tell. It is a story that's so full of human kindness and the struggle of trying to do what's right in such a harsh and strange situation. It manages to be so inspiring and life-affirming. The show's use of direct address makes you feel like you're right there, going along with the stories, which gives it a really relatable kind of element to it. It allows you to fall in love with these characters and really highlights that these are real people, these are real stories. And what's more, these are stories about regular people just stepping up when they needed to step up. And I feel like that's more inspiring to me than any superhero film or any other story, because you can be any I feel like this is so much more inspiring to me than any other story, because you can be anyone in this musical if you just step up when somebody else needs help. I'm going to avoid spoilers as much as possible because I want everyone who watches this video to go away and listen or watch Come From Away. But there is one moment I'd like to discuss in a little bit of detail, because I feel like it really shows the human stories behind this musical. Towards the start of the musical, I would say. It's not the exact start, but it's a little bit after. After the planes have all landed and they're starting to take people off, they start to put them on buses to take them to the different shelters across Newfoundland. One of these buses is full of passengers from Africa. And so there's a clear language barrier between the bus driver and all the passengers. This is used for some good comedy, but it becomes a little bit more serious later, when the bus driver gets to the location, opens the doors, but nobody will step off the bus. You can feel the fear and the anxiety in that small space, as all these people have no clue where they are, and this bus driver is just trying to get them to their next location. So what he does to overcome this challenge is he sees that one of the passengers is clutching a Bible. So he asks to see it. He flips to a page. He realizes that they would have the same number system. So he finds Philippians 4:6. Be anxious for nothing. It's a simple challenge and it's really relatable, trying to get over a language barrier. But it's the way that the show finds a way to get around it. And the fact that this story is true just makes it all the more better. This musical is performed by 12 actors, all multi-rolling as a variety of different people, and a mixture of islanders and come-from-aways. Despite this smaller cast, the show manages to make the stage feel busy the whole show. It really feels like this actual community, and I feel like that is, in a sense, down to the direction and the fact that this cast is probably a community. They're probably quite tight-knit. And these actors do a fantastic job of capturing the madness of the situation. And most importantly, I feel like they really get the essence of each character, making them all feel different and unique and really human. Now, I have seen this show 6 times in 1 year. Now, I know there are probably people who've seen it a lot more than me, but I still get a lot of people who come up to me saying, why do you see the same show over and over again? Doesn't it get boring? And I say no. I've never really explained it, but I'm going to try now. With Come From Away, specifically Come From Away, there's different reasons I go see different musicals, but I always go see Come From Away for the audience. Of course, I do go to see it for the actual show, and I get so much enjoyment out of it, but I think there's something really special about sitting in that room and feeling this audience slowly warm up to the show and fall in love with it as much as I do. Because the audience of the show, the people who come in, they tend to not know it. Because it's not something like Wicked or Hamilton, where it's so ingrained into our consciousness now that everyone just knows it. People take a chance on it. And because of this, they only really know the basic plot. I mean, I've overheard many a conversation in the audience going, oh, what's this show about? Something about 9/11? That sounds dark. Oh, alright. But what it does so perfectly is that the show allows you to warm up to it. It starts to present these real life situations and these characters who are really endearing and really funny. And then they start getting challenged and you start to relate to them and you start to feel so sorry for them and feel so happy for them when they start succeeding and you're scared for them. It's so human. Come From Away also doesn't give you many applause breaks. There is one at the end of the title number, and then the next one is all the way in like the end of the middle of the show, I would call it. This works in 2 aspects. Number 1, it works to show the busyness of the town. It works to show how much is being thrown at them and how it's just one thing after another, a challenge after a challenge, and it's just them overcoming it, and you kind of go along with that as an audience member. But on the other hand, it allows this excitement to build up in you and you're constantly going, yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. And you really want to show your appreciation for it. So when that end note of screeching comes, the audience just goes insane, cheering and clapping for a good couple of minutes. And honestly, that is the best feeling. And I don't think I can discuss Come From Away now without discussing the real life reflections to our current situation. The sense of coming together in a time of crisis has never felt more relevant than it does now. We are seeing human kindness in the face of tragedy every day at the moment. I mean, I can speak for the UK because that's the kind of news I hear the most, where we are clapping for our NHS every single Thursday, and we have individual people who are trying their best to raise as much money as they can for charities who are offering aid and relief to people suffering with this. I don't want to say the word because, YouTube doesn't like it, but you know what I'm talking about. We love to see and hear about these stories, and Come From Away is literally 100 minutes of these stories. It does such a good job at mixing the comedy of this absurd situation, but also realising that there is a real tragedy behind it. They've lost so much, but they also gain something. And the musical does not take this lightly. It really allows you to feel the tragedy of it, but also feel the highs. It's such a mixed emotion, and I feel that is the most human emotion that the show gives you. And Mean Girls, this is how you do a simple set. It's exactly what it needs to be. With the trees towards the side of the stage towering over the set. With the massive wooden panel backdrop that is lit up a variety of different colours to reflect mood and time. The use of tables and chairs as a variety of different locations. All fluidly moved by the actors. And of course my favourite part about this is that it's all moved by the actors for the other actors. They each help each other get what they need. So if they need a table and a chair, somebody else will move it for them. If they need a prop like a fish or an airplane hat, it will all be handed to them by other people. And it really reflects the kindness that the Newfoundlanders showed. And it just shows that the more you think about this show, the better it becomes. And of course, the mark of any great musical is its music. And Come From Away has a fantastic score. Come From Away has such a unique sound because it borrows a lot from the music that Newfoundlanders create, their kind of folk music. And in the end, it creates this sound that is unheard of across Broadway. And yet, songs like Welcome to the Rock, Screech In, Stop the World, and Me in the Sky all stand out as amazing songs in their own right. Me in the Sky is my favourite musical theatre song of all time. I think it encaptures the absolute soul of what this musical is. And it's really inspiring to hear the real life story of Beverly Bass, who stood up for herself and pushed to get where she wanted to be. It's just such a fantastic song. If you're not going to listen to anything else from Come From Away, please listen to Me in the Sky. See, I could talk about this musical for years and years and years because it is just so perfect to me. Every single little element about this show is executed to perfection. From the set, to the plot, to the music, to the acting, to the staging. It's just, they all come together to present this show that makes you feel so happy to be alive. Every time I feel sad, or I'm stressed, or I'm upset, I will either go to London to watch Come From Away, or I will listen to Come From Away. Because it is therapy to me. It always makes me feel so inspired and so happy, despite it dealing with quite a harsh and tragic subject matter. It's a musical that has to be seen, and thankfully, I think it will be. I think Come From Away is a show that will survive for generations and generations. If not being performed live, then at least being listened to on their cast recording. Please go listen to Come From Away. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. I make content about musical theatre because I love it so much, as I have literally just talked about for the past however long minutes. How about you check out some of my other content on screen right now? Ooh, there's a variety. But I'm out of time. I've got to go listen to the Come From Away soundtrack again. Bye.